Welcome back to International Finance. I am Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance. We are going through Chapter 14, Interest Rate and Currency Swap of Un, Resnick, and Chulun. And last video we talked about interest rate swap. There we did not have to worry about the currency because it was all US dollar terms. The only difference was one company was borrowing in a floating rate market, the other company was borrowing in a fixed rate market, and then wishing that they would be able to borrow in the other alternative markets because it's more favorable. There comes in a swap bank and bang, you do the swap transactions, and then mutually it's beneficial and saving the borrowing cost, right? And then in the middle, the swap bank can also make money as much as the bid-ask spread. Good. Here it's about the currency swap. The currency of the borrowing are different, okay? And the fixed and floating rate borrowing could also be different over here. Now the FX risk gets involved, right? It's more complicated, but hold fast, right? Tighten your seatbelt, fasten your seatbelt, right? And then let's see. Texas Instrument is an example, a fictitious example in this story here. Texas Instrument, what is that about? This is this company, right? The calculator and then the semiconductor starting from Texas, right? And the CFA exam. To do that exam, this is the official calculator that you have to use, right? Anyway, this company is AA rated in that market and a US multinational corporation, and it wants to finance a capital expenditure of its German subsidiary. Okay, they do business in Germany, and then they need 40 million euros worth of money to finance their maybe R&D, maybe production, or maybe distribution. I don't know, but they needed $40 million, 40 million euros, right? I'm sorry. And then 5 years length, and then at what? 8% fixed rate, okay? And by the way, foreign exchange spot market rate is $1.3 per euro right now. Texas Instrument headquarter or the mother company or the parent company could borrow 52 million US dollars in US capital market and convert this into 40 million euro to give the German subsidiary right now, so that the German subsidiary could earn the euro monies and then repay it back to the mother company 5 years down the road, okay? The only problem is, well, it's long-term FX risk. What if US dollar value appreciates drastically over that 5-year period, which means euro currency value depreciates over that 5-year period? You remember, in this scheme, the subsidiary is earning this euro currency money. Okay, at the end of 5th year, they will be bankrupt or something, would not be able to repay. You're in trouble. Alternatively, TI could issue 40 million euro foreign bond in Germany so that the German subsidiary, you finance yourself on your own, okay? It's like you're a grown-up baby, okay? You're not a grown-up baby. You're already a grown-up enough so that you can finance yourself in that local market. Good luck, my kid, all right? 5 years. And then it turns out in the local market, they can only borrow at 7% rate fixed, okay? The thing is, if I do the picture, right, like this, it looks like this. Here is America, there is Germany, and then what separates these two, these are not the river, but it's Atlantic Ocean. You have to believe it, that it is an ocean, even though it looks like a small brook or something. So across the Atlantic, right, there is a mother company and son company or daughter company, Texas Instrument, and then if they try to borrow in the U.S. capital market, 8% rate, in US dollar, and US FX spot rate is $1.3 per euro right now. And if the German subsidiary, the son or daughter company, can independently borrow in euro bond market at 7% rate because they need 40 million euros, right? But the trouble is, why is it 7%? Because German market, they are not known. The German investors would say, what? Was ist das? Was ist das? In Chinese terminology, it's like, 你是谁呀? Like, who are you? I don't know you, right? They'll be in trouble, so that's why they have to pay as much as 7%. You may say, oh, Mo, come on. That's lower than 8%. Isn't it good? No. I didn't say one thing for you yet. How much could a company borrow in German market if they have AA rated, right? Here is a counterbalancing company called, let's say, a fictitious example, Porsche, okay? AA rated. As a minor it has a mirror image of financing need, let's say. Porsche, obviously German company, they have American subsidiary, a son or daughter company, and needs $52 million for capex for 5 years. Oh yeah, luckily you found that counterparty, potential counterparty. And then Porsche could raise 40 million euro at 6% fixed in German bond market, and then convert it into $52 million and send it to US in US subsidiary. Okay, first thing first, 6%. I said Texas Instrument, how much? 7%. Both AA rated, but Porsche 6%. Texas Instrument, why 7%? Here, was ist das? I don't know you. Ich kenne das nicht. Ich kenne die nicht. I don't know. So that's the problem here. Porsche, yeah, they could borrow in their home country and then give it to a subsidiary in US dollar terms and make let them do their business in US dollar terms, and 5 years down the road, let this son company repay the mother company later on. The only problem there is long-term FX risk again. What if US dollar value depreciates drastically this time? Okay, which means euro value appreciates drastically over the 5 years. You remember this Sun company has been making their money in US dollar terms. Depreciating, you're in trouble. Porsche America could issue Yankee bond in US market at 9% fixed. Okay, these are the assumptions in this example. So pictorially it would look like this. Okay, the Porsche, yes, home country in Germany, yeah, it's AA rated. They have a subsidiary in America issuing 9% rate, and then they need $52 million. They could issue bond at 9% rate, even though they are mother companies equally AA rated. Okay. The trouble is the US capital market. Their investors would say, what is Porsche? Of course, it's unrealistic because everybody knows Porsche, but I could have thrown you some more, some other less known German companies right over here. But just for the sake of time, right? Let's say this is Porsche, and let's say you don't know Porsche in America. So that's one diagram that I throw in. So here in the US market, there's a comparative advantage for the Texas Instrument to issue bond in the US. And then in the German market, Porsche has comparative advantage to issue bond in Germany. Okay, both sides have their respective comparative advantage in their home ground. So why don't they borrow those equivalent amount and swap it? Okay, give to that money to their subsidiaries, of course, right? And then swap the contract so that they will take care of it later on. So instead of making their son companies borrow in their respective foreign ground, the mother companies borrow in their domestic capital market, okay, at the advantageous rate, comparative advantages, right? 8% versus 6% over here. Borrow $52 million and borrow 40 million euro. Then each companies, parent companies, give those money to the son companies or daughter companies in the foreign land, right? And then let them do their own business, right? And then respectively, they will earn the foreign currency as they do their own business offshore, and then repay those amounts interest, right? In respective currency, like euro from the Texas Instruments perspective, and then US dollars from the perspective of Porsche. But they, give those interest to the swap counterparty. Okay, euro currency that you repay it, pay it back to Porsche, and then US dollar that you earn, pay it back to Texas Instrument. Okay, through a swap contract at 8% over for US dollars and 6% for euro currency. All right, those kind of swap contracts would make it easier, the relief, right? Those currency risk for each different country companies, right? In the long run. But if these two companies can directly do this kind of swap transactions, that's the best case. But usually they don't know each other. Those CFOs, they don't know. And then usually this is where the bankers get in as a swap bank. Let's say Societe Generale once more. Okay. So in theory, without any bid-ask spread of this swap bank, those transactions can go this way, 8% and 6% like this. This guy working as a middleman, okay? And say for Texas Instrument, Germany, right? German bond market, right? They don't have to worry about it, but they just have to pay 6% of 40 million euros, which is 2.4 million every year, okay? And that 6% payment goes through swap bank and then reaches Porsche, okay? And then Porsche America, they repay 8% of 52 million US dollars, which is 4.16 million US dollars every year. And that goes through the swap bank and then it reaches Texas Instrument, okay? Swapping this interest and payment obligation, all right? Now, contractual FX rate, you can compute periodically. The contractual FX rate at the end of each year would be 4.16, which is, say, 4.16 million dollars, right? That's this guy, over 2.4 million euros over here. So that it's going to be $1.7334 per euro, right? That's the interest rate, the interest payment periodically until the end of the maturity, okay? Remember the FX rate, spot rate is 1.3. It's different, right? A lot higher, but we don't care about it too much. And then we go to, as we go to the end of the contract, it's gonna get closer. Now let's see, contractual FX rate at the maturity date would be like this. You see this number, 52 plus 52 million US dollars plus interest of $4.16 million, principal plus interest, okay? That's this guy and that guy. That's numerator. Denominator is euro obligation, which is 2.4 million plus 40 million, okay? Adding together, that's denominator. So if you do the math, the contractual FX rate that you are assuming undergoing is $1.3245 per euro, okay? You lock in this contractual FX rate by taking this swap contract, okay? Now, that's how the swap works. Of course, the swap bank would charge some bid-ask spread. They are not doing it for free, okay? So, for example, for Societe Generale would pay 8% to Texas Instrument, but they would receive 8.15% from Porsche and get the difference of 15 basis points for their swap business in US dollar. And then for Euro, they would pay Porsche 6%, but may receive a higher amount, like 6.1% from Texas Instrument, and get the difference of 10 basis points to finance, to make profit out of it. Okay, so the interest rate will be slightly different, like this, and accordingly, the payment of interest will be adjusted. It will be changed like this: 2.44 million over here, and then 4.238 million US dollars over here, like that. So realistically, bid-ask spread will be there for you. So that's a pictorial introduction of currency swap. Okay, currency swap. Another example, firm A and firm B, as in textbook, right? Consider firm A and B. A is a US multinational corporation who wants to finance a euro-denominated asset in Italy and therefore wants to borrow 40 million euro for 3 years. A can borrow euros at 6% rate. Okay. Firm B is a French MNC who wants to finance a dollar-denominated asset and therefore wants to borrow $60 million for 3 years, and B can borrow dollars at 8% rate. Okay. The exchange rate, spot rate is 1.5, which justifies these two amounts being equivalent, right? $60 million and then 40 million euros, they are equivalent because, this is justifying that. Anyway, 3 years equivalent, voila, you have the same maturity, equivalent amount in different currencies, and then why don't we just swap it? Okay, that's the currency swap concept. And these are the borrowing rate in each different currencies. R of dollars, R of euro. Okay, interest rate. 7% for A, 8% for B. Euro borrowing rate 6% for A, 5% of B. Why is that different? Even though they are equivalent companies in credit quality or things like that, that's Jahangir versus Sai kind of issue. Was ist das? Ich kenne das nicht. I don't know you, kind of, 我不知道，我不知你，你是谁呀？ Kind of, who are you? That's where this swap gets interesting. All right, so, if you look at, yes, you move down to the next slide. Suppose, right, that a swap bank publishes these quotes. The convention is to quote against US dollar LIBOR, and euro and US dollar bid-ask rates are shown over here. 3-year borrowing rate, okay, 5%, 5.2%, 7%, 7.2%. And then firm A wants to finance a euro-denominated asset in Italy and wants to borrow euros. It can borrow euros at 6%, or it can borrow euros at 5.2% by using a currency swap with firm B. Then why wouldn't you go for a swap, right? As long as you can borrow lower rate. Yeah, that's the idea. Now here, we have a company A and B. A is from the US, and then they can borrow at 7% if they borrow in the US home country, right? But they have German subsidiary or a European subsidiary, in which they can borrow at disadvantageous rate. In contrast, company B is a European company. They can borrow at a more advantageous rate in Europe, their home ground, but they have their own business in America where they can borrow at a disadvantageous rate. So mutually, why don't they borrow at their home ground, which gives them comparative advantage, and then give their subsidiary the necessary money, and then swap the interest payment. So the swap contract will take care of the situation. Okay, mutually win-win situation. Let's create it, and then with that we have a mutual. Each currency's bid-ask rate or swap transaction is shown over here. Conversion is quoted against US dollar, LIBOR, right? And then these kind of quotation is based on this LIBOR quotation. So we are implicitly, by convention, we are using this fixed versus floating LIBOR related transactions going on. Okay, LIBOR related ones. But here we have two fixed rate ones. So we're going to involve two fixed to float the swap transactions. We're going to have it. And remember, in the previous one, in the swap diagram, we had two companies, and then borrowing banks mutually, and then there was a swap bank, 5 different entities going on. So here we're going to introduce that one again, but more complicated one. So we will start with the left-hand side of the diagram. Left-hand side means like company A, and it's a swap bank, and then it's borrowing bank. All right. Now, company A, the US company, let's say, suppose that company A borrows 60 million US dollars locally at 7% rate, then trades $60 million for 40 million euros at spot exchange. Okay. So Bank X is the one they're going to finance, maybe Bank of America, and then $60 million, 7% rate, and borrow it. And then with the $60 million, what do? You have to exchange it in the Forex market, bring it, and then convert it, $40 million, and then bring it to your subsidiary company, and then swap bank gets in, maybe Societe Generale again. And then there's a two fixed to float swap transaction going on. One for euro currency and the other for dollar currency. Okay, and then because this is a fixed to float, bid-ask spread is quoted, and assuming this kind of transactions over there. So for US dollars, right, 7% rate. Okay, bid 7%. And then for euro, 5.2%, right, over there. Okay, and in exchange, respectively, you have a counterbalancing LIBOR-based floating rate that contract goes on. Okay, established with this swap bank, right? Firm A then enters into two fixed for floating swaps, one for euro, the other for US dollars, right? Like this. Okay. And then in any case, they will cancel each other out because they are the same LIBOR, equivalent to be designed to be the same, right? Anyway, and then company B's perspective, you're going to have the equivalent diagram. Suppose that the company B borrows 40 million euros locally at 5% rate, then trades 40 million euro for $60 million. So company B, let's say, say they go to Banco Santander or whatever bank in Europe, right? Bank Y, and then 40 million euro they borrowed at 5% rate, and go to foreign exchange market and convert it into US 60 million US dollars, and then bring that to the subsidiary, and then enter into what is it? Two fixed to 4 floating swaps, right? Just like what the company A did for this Societe Generale, the swap bank. All right. Now, 5% for euro and 7.2% for US dollars, because that's ask rate, and then this is the bid rate for between the swap bank and then the firm B. Okay. So all in all, what happens? Well, we bring all those 5 entities in one picture. Okay. The swap bank earns 40 basis points per year. 40 basis points, well, 20 basis points in US dollars and 20 basis points in euro. Okay. So from company A's side, company B side like this. For US dollar, 7.2 and 7%, right? The difference is 20 basis points. You earn that 20 basis points over there, over here. And then company A to company B, right? This swap contract, 5.2 basis points to 5.0%. Euro rate, 20 basis points different. Yeah, you swallow that, swap bank. That's 20 basis points in over there. Okay. So that's that. The 7% interest rate that the company has to pay bank X, fixed rate, 5% fixed for bank Y. That goes then. And from company A earns 80 basis points per year on the swap and hedge exchange rate risk. Okay. And then company B earns 80 basis points per year on the swap bank and hedges exchange rate risk as well. All right, compared to what they could have borrowed at their respective foreign currency market, right? So, and then the cash flows of the swaps in the initial stage, right? So $60 million they borrow from bank X and then go to the foreign exchange market and then convert it into 40 million euros. And company B as well do the equivalent thing and then finance their subsidiaries. And then what's the cash flow at the end of year one? Well, that depends on the LIBOR rate at the beginning of this first year. That's T0 LIBOR rate. Let's suppose it is 3%, right? So the initially 3% LIBOR, that you fix that, and then that's kept over the 1 year. Now the swap bank earns 80,000 euro for euro transactions, and then the 120,000 US dollars from the US dollar way of transaction. That is 20 basis points, is that right? Yeah, 20 basis points in euro currency, a $40 million euro notional principal, and also 20 basis points of the notional principal in US dollar terms, right? Per year. That's that. And then firm A's all-in cost would be, okay, right, like this. So that's these, those swap banks earning money, okay? Right, like that. If you do the numbers, you will find out that one. And then the company's A's all-in cost is 2.01 million euro or 5.2% of 40 million euro. All right. So that's this guy. And then if you look at 1.8 canceling each other out, 4.2 coming in, 4.2 going out, that cancels each other out. Net cash outflow, all-in cost of 2.8 million euro. That's this guy. Now, company B, how is that? 1.8 cancel each other out. 2 million coming in, going out, cancel each other out. The net amount of going out of company B, all-in cost is $4.32 million, or that is 7.2% of 60 million US dollars. That's it. Okay. How about time point two? Assuming that, or suppose the LIBOR rate at the end of year one happened to be 4%, and then over the next year, right, the second year, what is the cash flow for each different entities, right, at the end of year two, right? So LIBOR rate is fixed at 4%, right? And then the swap bank earns 20 basis points from each different currency notional principal. That's these, doesn't change, right? Compared to the previous year. Company A's, right? Company A's all-in cost does not change, right? All the fluctuating part, LIBOR, is taken care of, all right? Canceling each other out. And then what matters is the fixed part, and that's just stays there, right? 2.08 million again for company A, and to $4.32 million for company B, right? So if you do the numbers, right, these guys, that guy cancel each other out. This guy, that guy cancel each other out. What is left is this one, 2.08 fixed payment, right? And then this equivalent thing happens, right, for company B as well. Now, year 3, let's suppose that LIBOR rate increased to 5% at the end of year 2. So that the third year, your LIBOR rate is fixed at 5%. And then the swap transactions, right, happens this way. So that at the end of year 3, you have to repay the 40 million euro for firm A, and $60 million equivalent, right? Anyway, the company B, you have to pay it, did I say 40 million? 60 million, right? 60 million. You borrowed from the US dollar. So you pay it, 60, repay it, right? And then the firm B, you repay $40 million in your respective home country. That's it. The principal doesn't get changed. Only the interest payment, you swap it, okay, in different currency. That's what the beauty of this currency swap. All right, now the next slide, set of video, I'm going to talk about the remaining part of it, and then so wait for that. Thanks for watching. Okay, see you. Bye bye.